If it's all right, I'd like to tell you a really quick story about our dog Jack. Now, we had Jack for about 10 or 11 years from the very first year that we were married. And man, we loved that dog, and we know that he loved us. One day, Jack bit me. Now, before I get any further into the story, I'd like you to think about why my dog would bite me. We never abused him. We fed him really well. We trained him. We exercised him. We provided a warm and comfortable and loving home for him. And he was a really good dog. So why would he bite me? Well, before we rescued Jack, he was in an abusive and unloving environment. He was starved and he was kicked around, and he was conditioned that other dogs were bad. Well, one day we came across another dog, and this dog was socially awkward, and Jack felt really threatened. Jack's survival instincts actually switched on, and he attacked this other dog. I caught him and pulled him off, but because Jack was already driven by this survival instinct, he kept snapping his jaws, and he ended up catching my hand in his teeth, and he bit down, and he bit through my finger, and he held on to my hand. And by the time he came to his senses, the damage was done, and my hand was just dripping with blood. Now, the reason that Jack bit me had nothing to do with his temperament, or his lack of love for me, or my lack of love for him. His survival instinct, that's commonly known as fight or flight, was switched on, and he fought for his life, and he caught my hand in the process. In 2015, doctors found that over 9 out of 10 babies have injuries in their necks and backs that occur during normal deliveries. And when babies are injured, they can't tell us about it. So they adapt to the pain and the injury, and they scar, and they heal crooked and out of place. And those crooked and scarred areas signal to the brain that there's a problem. And the survival instinct system turns on. And it never turns off as long as that child has that injury. Every baby is born with a different story, and if they're injured, their story is written for them. They won't have control of their emotions and their feelings and their thoughts and their energy levels. They literally are fighting for survival in a world that they don't understand very well. Now, we see a lot of kids in our office. We don't see them for headaches or neck pain or back pain. We see them because their small developing systems are caught in this survival mode instinct, just like my dog Jack. The difference is that in humans, fight or flight doesn't always make us snap our teeth trying to bite the people around us. Instead, it affects their energy levels, and we call that hyperactivity. It can affect their ability to prioritize tasks, and we call that attention deficit. It increases their sensitivity to stimulus like clothes and tags and lights and sounds, and we call that sensory processing disorder. So behavioral and sensory problems aren't disorders or diseases. They're often simply fight or flight in the brain. Normal positive senses go to the higher parts of the brain to make normal positive thoughts and feelings and emotions and actions. Negative, fearful senses trigger the survival instinct system, and that causes fight or flight. When we can find the injury and fix it and write a new story, then thoughts and feelings and emotions and actions can become normal again. Now, in our experience, ADHD, ADD, sensory processing disorder, anxiety are not disorders or diseases. They're symptoms of a child fighting for their life, trying to survive in a world that's scary and hard for them to understand. They're injured, and they feel alone and afraid. These problems are contained in the nervous system. And we are fortunate in our office to have the best testing methods available for these problems in the nervous system. If you believe that your child is acting differently or is not reaching their potential properly, please give us a call at 801-762-6940 and we'll get them checked. Please call today.